Many believe that without meat, the body inevitably slides into a protein deficit. However, this misconception shatters against one simple fact. A genuine protein deficiency is an absolute rarity, provided your overall calorie intake is sufficient. Lentils, chickpeas, tofu, nuts, and even grains like quinoa contain impressive amounts of protein. The crucial point not to hunt for one massive portion in a specific food, but rather to meet your requirements through variety. This is easily achieved by cleverly combining different ingredients. A real shortfall only looms with an extremely one-sided diet. For example, if nothing but plain pasta and vegetables end up on the table. For a long time, the prevailing wisdom was that plant proteins were incomplete, and that you had to consume every essential building block in a single meal. Modern nutritional science has long since revised this view. It is perfectly sufficient to get them spread throughout the day. Like a skilled master builder, the organism simply gathers the required materials from various sources as they come in. In parallel, the image of an eternal trench war persists. Allegedly, vegetarians aggressively force their convictions on others, while meat eaters remain in a defensive posture. The internet masterfully fuels this illusion of irreconcilable hostility. In real life, however, most people treat the choices of others with composure, happily sharing the same table while respecting personal space. Clichés like the militant vegan or the stubborn grill defender are primarily products of heated online debates. In everyday life, your chosen menu rarely becomes a matter of dispute, as long as you avoid provocation. Ultimately, conflict usually ignites over a lack of respect for boundaries, not over the contents of the plate. Let's start with the most important point. The myth that a meat-free diet is an unaffordable luxury is simply false. In fact, grains, legumes, and seasonal fruits and vegetables are among the most inexpensive items available. The only things that really put a strain on your wallet are processed alternatives, like ready-made veggie burgers or exotic superfoods. As long as your meal plan doesn't consist solely of avocados and veggie patties, your supermarket bill will often be lower than it would be with a traditional grocery haul. Ultimately, high-quality fillets, fish, or seafood impact your finances much more heavily than a foundation of whole grains, locally grown produce, and tofu. By the way, until the 19th century, people who avoided animal products weren't called vegetarians. They were known as Pythagoreans. The famous mathematician Pythagoras was a staunch opponent of eating flesh. He believed in the transmigration of souls and feared that the spirit of a deceased person might be locked inside an animal's body. The term we use today only caught on in 1847 in England, with the founding of the Vegetarian Society. Now, let's examine the figures and the research. Medical science, backed by extensive data from the University of Oxford, confirms that those on a plant-oriented diet have lower cholesterol levels. Their risk of coronary heart disease drops by 22%, and colorectal cancer is diagnosed less frequently. However, omnivores also enjoy health benefits. They are less prone to bone fractures or certain types of strokes, thanks to an ample supply of calcium, vitamin D, and easily digestible protein. Nowadays, only about 8 to 10% of the global population follows a strictly meatless lifestyle. Yet, the modern world is being shaped by another group, flexitarians, who already make up nearly 1/3 of inhabitants in industrialized nations. These are individuals who don't renounce meat entirely but enjoy it consciously and sparingly, often opting for higher quality products. They are the ones truly driving the industry today. We don't owe the current boom in plant-based burgers and sausages to vegans, but rather to those meat lovers who want to indulge in that familiar taste every now and then, just with significantly less actual animal on the plate. There's a persistent claim that a preference for meat awakens a predator instinct in humans, making us tougher and more short-tempered. In reality, there isn't a shred of scientific evidence to back this up. Aggression is driven by temperament, upbringing, hormones, and stress, not by whether you chose chicken or a salad for lunch. Some meat enthusiasts justify their dietary habits by saying we're hunters. After all, just like wolves or lions. It sounds logical at first. Early humans always ate animals. It's in our DNA. But human history is far more complex. Our ancestors were primarily hunter-gatherers, and in many regions, plant-based foods made up the vast majority of their sustenance. Entire civilizations, such as those in India, have lived on vegetarian diets for centuries, while other societies restricted animal consumption out of necessity. From an anthropological perspective, the "we've always done it this way" argument simply doesn't hold water. Biologically speaking, humans are omnivores. That is how we were designed. Our molars are perfectly shaped for grinding down fibrous plants, while our canines and incisors help us bite into and tear apart solid food. The length of our intestines, the enzymes we generate, and jaw structure all prove that our bodies possess incredible evolutionary flexibility. We can efficiently extract energy from a wide variety of sources, effortlessly adapting to our surroundings. Ultimately, today's debates about what we were actually created to be belong more to the realm of ideology than to real biology. When it comes to ecology, the situation is not quite so black and white either. There's a common view that consuming meat destroys the planet, while giving it up saves it. Without a doubt, industrial factory farming leaves a massive ecological footprint. Beef production requires significantly more land and water than growing crops. But reality is more multi-layered. While a plant-based lifestyle is almost always greener, you can improve your personal impact even further by swapping imported avocados and excess plastic for seasonal vegetables. True environmental consciousness means looking not just at what ends up on your plate, but also at how far it had to travel to get there. Many believe that giving up meat is a guarantee for a slim figure, but it's not quite that simple. While research confirms that vegetarians generally have a lower body mass index and better cholesterol levels, a plant-based diet can still be incredibly calorie-dense. Nuts, oils, avocados, or even vegan pastries can easily lead to weight gain. After all, those extra pounds can accumulate from fats and carbohydrates just as easily, without any animal-derived ingredients. The environmental aspect is also a pressing issue here. Producing 1 kilogram or about 2.2 pounds of beef requires around 15,000 liters of water, approximately 4,000 US gallons, while 1 kilo of wheat takes just 1,500 liters, roughly 400 US gallons. But not all greenery is harmless. Asparagus, almonds, or greenhouse tomatoes leave a massive water and carbon footprint. When looking at the ecological balance, local farm produce often performs better than vegetables grown in energy-intensive greenhouses or imported from the other side of the globe. In many cases, the ethical choice for plant-based food is rooted in animal welfare. Researchers have proven that the mental abilities of pigs are surprisingly advanced. They possess an excellent long-term memory, can empathize as well as feel joy, and are even capable of playing simple video games using a joystick. It is striking that women choose this lifestyle more frequently than men. The roots of this lie in an age-old cliché that has linked meat consumption with the image of the strong male for centuries. But if a long-term vegetarian suddenly craves a juicy steak, the body reacts with pain, nausea, and a feeling of heaviness. The reason? The gut flora adapts to the plant-centric diet, which reduces the number of bacteria that break down animal proteins. Furthermore, the pancreas loses its familiarity with this specific load and produces fewer of the enzymes necessary for digesting heavy meat-based foods. Today, scientists are already growing cultivated meat from cells in the lab, entirely without killing any livestock. Perhaps in 50 years, the debate between plant eaters and meat eaters will have settled itself. By then, meat could be an ethically neutral commodity.
Nutrition has become something of a substitute religion these days. Whenever emotions run high, myths inevitably arise. Whether you love juicy steaks or prefer tofu, each camp cultivates its own clichés. But who actually has it right? Vegetarians or meat eaters? As is so often the case, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Both ways of eating can be just as beneficial as they are harmful. Ultimately, everything hinges on awareness and balance. Therefore, let's set the dispute aside and debunk the 10 biggest misconceptions, relying strictly on scientific evidence and common sense.
The claim that plant-based cuisine is boring and tasteless is long outdated. In the minds of many, a meat-free menu is still limited to a bland lettuce leaf and raw carrots. But the reality looks far more appetizing. Thanks to an abundance of spices, sauces, and diverse textures, the green menu often proves to be more varied than the classic combination of meat and a side dish. Modern culinary arts transform cauliflower into a succulent steak and humble chickpeas into delicious hummus. International gastroclassics, from Italian risotto and Georgian lobio to aromatic Indian curries, are no longer seen as mere dishes without meat, but stand out as culinary highlights in their own right. By the way, one shouldn't assume that all lifestyle diseases are down to meat consumption alone. A high-quality, lean cut is by no means poison. It can certainly fit into a healthy daily routine. The real danger lurks in trans fats and heavily processed items like salami, sausages, or bacon. India serves as a prime example of a food culture thriving without meat products. Vegetarianism has flourished there for over 2,500 years and shapes the diets of nearly 40% of the population. This tradition is so deeply rooted in religion and society that you will search in vain for beef burgers even in Indian McDonald's branches. But does ditching the schnitzel actually grant you a longer life? Researchers at Loma Linda University in the US presented some impressive figures. According to them, vegetarian men live an average of 10 years longer, and women at least 6. Large-scale research from Europe and Asia also confirms a 9% lower risk of premature death. However, we must consider the problem of the unfair comparison. Those who opt for plant-based fare usually make more conscious health choices overall. These individuals exercise more often, smoke less, and drink less alcohol. It is precisely this bundle of habits that extends one's existence, and not just the absence of animal-derived ingredients on the plate. Recent, more rigorous investigations confirm that with a comparably fit lifestyle, no significant differences in life expectancy can be found between meat lovers and plant eaters. Many believe that giving up meat is a golden ticket to an ideal figure, but the reality is far more nuanced. A meat-free lifestyle alone is no guarantee of a balanced nutritional plan. It is entirely possible to skip the roast while living on potato chips, soda, and French fries. There is even an ironic term for this phenomenon: junk food vegetarianism. Vegan desserts and baked goods often rival traditional sweets when it comes to caloric content. The true health benefit doesn't come from the absent steak, but from the inclusion of whole, plant-based fare on your plate. Ultimately, vegetarian merely describes a dietary pattern. It is not a synonym for being fit. History has also left clear imprints here. In the past, animal-based products were considered a potent emblem of power. In feudal Europe, the privilege of big game hunting belonged exclusively to the nobility. At the lavish banquets of that era, whole wild boars and peacocks served less for sustenance and more as a form of political theater. This only shifted with the Industrial Revolution. Prices plummeted, turning what was once a luxury into an everyday staple during the 20th century. Interestingly, our nutrition also impacts our physical attractiveness. A study in the journal Chemical Senses revealed that in blind tests, women rated the scent of men on a strictly plant-based diet as significantly more pleasant and less pungent compared to the body odor of red meat lovers. Nevertheless, meat remains a powerful cultural token for many. The festive table, from the Thanksgiving turkey to the classic New Year's feast, is almost always built around savory main courses. These dishes reflect rituals of hospitality and a deep sense of community. Consequently, abandoning such meals is often perceived not as a personal choice, but as a form of cultural alienation. Most of us simply eat what we've known since childhood, patterns that evolve extremely slowly, even with an iron will. Social pressure, packaged in questions like, "Wait, you don't eat meat?" further reinforces the status quo. The consumption of animal products rests on a massive foundation of biology, tradition, and taste. That is precisely why it is so difficult to transform, even when compelling ecological and ethical arguments speak against it. Many are convinced that if you eat meat, you can't truly love animals. However, this myth merely creates an artificial divide between people. In reality, the situation is far more nuanced. Countless meat consumers are genuinely devoted to their pets, support endangered species, or raise their own livestock with a keen eye on their welfare. At the same time, there are vegetarians who are completely indifferent to wildlife, choosing a plant-based diet purely for health reasons or to protect the environment. One's attitude toward living creatures is a deeply personal matter. Reducing it solely to a decision made at the supermarket's refrigerated aisle would be quite unfair. Moral high ground cannot be measured by the contents of your plate. Many followers of a traditional diet strictly reject the cruelty of factory farming and support charitable foundations. Even accusations of ecological ignorance often miss the mark. Flexitarians, for instance, consciously cut back on steaks and the like, making a significant contribution to climate protection in the process. In response to such allegations, you sometimes hear the counterargument, "But don't plants feel pain too?" Here, however, science is unequivocal. They lack a central nervous system and pain receptors. Their reactions are pure biochemistry, not suffering in any human sense. Furthermore, raising livestock requires many times more plant-based feed just to yield a single serving of meat. There is also a frequent concern that soy, a staple among veggie fans, might impair masculine vigor or even trigger breast growth. While these beans do contain phytoestrogens, which are structurally similar to female hormones, you would have to devour them by the bucket load for this legume to actually influence your hormonal balance. Numerous studies confirm moderate consumption has no impact on testosterone levels or reproductive health. And what about the notion that organic meat is entirely safe for the planet? Undoubtedly, living conditions on such farms are more humane, but the consumption of resources and land is often even higher there than on conventional estates. For the overall ecological balance and the reduction of CO2 emissions, shrinking meat portions on the menu remains more effective than simply switching to the eco-alternative. There is a widespread assumption that a love of meat inevitably leads to high cholesterol and heart disease. But in truth, the danger lies not in the food itself, but rather in its quality, quantity, and our overall lifestyle. Cardiovascular issues are more often fueled by an excess of trans fats, a preference for fatty sausages and bacon, and a lack of fiber and exercise. Conversely, when lean poultry or fish lands on your plate, flanked by plenty of vegetables, it forms an excellent foundation for cardiac health. A similar logic applies to the fear that red meat is pure poison. Although the WHO classifies processed products as carcinogenic and unprocessed red varieties as potentially cancer-causing, the actual risk depends directly on the amount consumed and frequency. For the vast majority of people, moderate consumption poses no proven threat. However, the opposite cliché also exists, that vegetarians are supposedly condemned to eternal weakness. In reality, energy levels can be more stable on a plant-based diet, as a balanced menu causes neither extreme fullness nor leaden fatigue after a meal. A slump in performance isn't a direct result of giving up animal products, but rather a consequence of a deficit in calories, iron, or vitamin B12. And while such deficiencies can occur with any eating plan, those following a meat-free lifestyle must pay extra attention to these values. Although the body absorbs iron from animal sources more easily, your requirements can be just as effectively met through spinach, chickpeas, lentils, or seeds, ideally paired with vitamin C, which acts as a powerful absorption booster. The belief that only animal protein grants genuine strength is largely psychological. After all, the primary fuel for the brain and muscles comes from carbohydrates and fats, not protein. A roast simply takes longer to digest, keeping you full for an extended period, while a cleverly composed plant-based lunch is metabolized more swiftly. This eliminates the heaviness that often follows a large meal. Ultimately, we should move away from rigid thinking. Neither is every plant eater a picture of health, nor is every steak lover destined for illness. Every person is unique, and the truth, as is so often the case, lies in finding the right balance. The idea that building impressive muscle without meat is impossible has long been a gym classic, but the reality of professional sports strikingly disproves this theory. Just look at tennis legend Novak Djokovic or one of the strongest men on the planet, Patrick Babamian. Their examples prove that a plant-based diet is no barrier to smashing world records. To increase muscle mass, the body primarily needs three factors: a calorie surplus, consistent training, and sufficient protein. Ultimately, our muscles are essentially indifferent to where those amino acids come from, whether from a juicy steak or plant-derived fare, as long as the meals are correctly combined throughout the day. While plant protein is utilized a bit more slowly and requires a varied menu to cover all essential building blocks, it remains a highly efficient fuel for the body. Here's a fascinating twist. The true catalyst behind the plant-based meat industry isn't vegans at all. The highest profits for companies creating soy patties with authentic-looking meat juice imitations actually come from so-called flexitarians. These are basically regular meat eaters who want to cut back on animal products for the sake of the environment or their own health, without sacrificing the familiar flavors they love. Then there's the mineral iron, a topic all on its own. Due to a lack of it, athletes occasionally struggle with what's known as sports anemia, and red meat is traditionally seen as one of the most effective sources to combat this. However, scientific trials clearly show that when pros switch from a meat-heavy nutritional plan to a balanced vegan-friendly one, their physical performance levels remain virtually unchanged. The takeaway is simple. Elite success can be achieved with any well-organized diet.
We love, we laugh, we take care of our bodies. I drive past a cemetery and look at the headstones. Resting there are people who once loved, laughed, and looked after themselves just the same. And ultimately, such a gravestone awaits every one of us. But what remains? Will our lives simply sink into the stream of time, like the existence of our ancestors whom we can no longer remember? My concept for the Human Heritage Museum envisions establishing a digital archive for personal records in every locality, as well as a repository for the significant creative works of all residents. In the main building, exhibitions of extraordinary figures will be presented, those who have profoundly shaped the development of civilization. My book, Human Heritage Museum, Foundations, shows you ways to preserve the memory of yourself for all eternity, so that future generations can learn who you were and how you lived. In this way, you become immortal in the hearts and minds of those who come after us.
There's a widespread belief that meat guarantees a complete nutritional package, while giving it up inevitably leads to the body's depletion. But science tells a different story. The reality is far more complex. Research shows that shortfalls in vitamin D, iron, and omega-3 fatty acids can be found in both camps. No eating habit is a magic shield against nutritional gaps if a conscious approach to food is missing. For those following a meat-free diet, it really is essential to monitor B12 levels. This nutrient is virtually non-existent in the plant world and is vital for the nervous system. It is best sourced from eggs, dairy products, or supplements. Conversely, meat lovers often struggle with a lack of fiber. There is none in a steak, after all, as well as antioxidants, especially if vegetables are neglected on their plates. Regarding iron, legumes, millet, and various seeds are excellent sources. Although plant-based trace elements are harder for the body to absorb, this process can be easily kickstarted by adding vitamin C, like a simple splash of lemon juice. Protein needs can be just as easily met with chickpeas, lentils, or tofu. Occasionally swapping meat for these alternatives is a smart move even for hardcore grill fans, as it helps take the strain off the kidneys. Concern often arises that a plant-based diet might be risky for children or during pregnancy. However, leading nutritional organizations worldwide confirm that a well-planned vegetarian menu is safe for every stage of life. In social settings, respecting boundaries is key. There's no need to pressure anyone into trying this amazing tofu, just as you shouldn't wave a piece of steak under a plant eater's nose while saying, "But it tastes so good." Clichés like real men need meat or accusations of being a murderer are equally counterproductive. If you share a kitchen, using separate cutting boards is a matter of mutual respect and hygiene to avoid cross-contamination. Even a simple question like, "Do you mind if I use the same tongs for the vegetables?" signals real consideration. And never try to test a vegetarian by secretly sneaking meat broth into a dish. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If you're invited over, inform your hosts about your dietary habits well in advance or offer to bring a hearty dish to share with everyone. Look for a happy medium. A meat lover might discover the rich flavors of Indian cuisine, while a vegetarian can often find excellent grilled veggies at a steakhouse. Most importantly, don't reduce your time together to just what's on the menu. A vegetarian friend doesn't want to debate consumption ethics 24/7, nor do they need constant praise for their willpower. Nobody should have to justify their choices. Friendship, love, and family are far more significant than culinary preferences. Save the heavy conversations about ecology or morality for another time. At the dinner table, it's much better to just relax and enjoy each other's company. Listen to your gut feeling, but trust the facts. The ideal diet is one that is well-balanced and provides energy. To be on the safe side, a simple annual blood test is all it takes. Just check your levels of iron, B12, and vitamin D.
I look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Did this video give you valuable insights? If so, thank you for the like. And if you want to gain even more useful knowledge, subscribe to our channel.